Now it's time that we can create the interface at the bottom. But before we do this, we want to maybe clean up our collection here a little bit, because this is getting a little bit out of hand. First, let's make one new collection, and we can call this Rebuild. Into this collection, we just put the two final objects in. Then make a new collection, and we can call this Trim. And then here, those objects we drag in there. It's a lot easier to quickly turn a collection on off than always having to show and hide objects. Okay, nice. So let's turn this off, turn this on. Then we can turn on Material Preview and go to the bottom. So here we have the opening for the optics, the on-off switch, lightning port, charging port, and the two tracks. We will start with Shift S, cursor to world origin. Shift A and make a plane. Then we will go into edit mode, press S and scale this plane down multiple times. There. Then press X and say only delete the face. So now I can see through it, but when I press A, I have still the geometry. And we can scale this down a little bit. S and X, go to here. S and X, scale it to there. Yeah, that looks good. So by doing this, I noticed, hey, look at this. This rounding and this rounding, they're all lined up. What's the dimension of this? This we will set to 80, that's better, and 36.5. Let's make this clean. Very good. So we can use this as a snapping tool soon. Apply scale. Very good. So Shift A, make a circle. 64 points is good. 4 millimeters. That's what I thought maybe this would be. And then we see, is a tick too big. So what about 7 millimeters? And then we see actually that this is just a tiny bit maybe in the inside. So we can keep this there. Okay, good. Now, how do we build these tracks? Shift D and escape. And I bring this one over. And I try to kind of like pay attention to when I press S now, and I scale this one down. Does this work out? So it looks like this might be 5.5. Okay. And apply scale. Now point select, point snapping, and move this, hold control, and now so danger. You can see we snap here to all these mesh points. So I will hide this. Snap, go down, snap along Y and X. So this is not perfectly centered there. Then let's go into edit mode. Press AA to deselect, or Alt A, B, go over here, Y to split, and bring this over, hold control, snap AF for fill. Very good. Very nice. So this has a fill, this does not have a fill, so select it, press the tab key, A and F, and tab key to get out. Let's go turn on the scan again. We can continue working with this. I go into edit mode by pressing tab or using the toggle, extrude, and extrude this down. Let's do a face orientation check. All good. Very nice. This is actually rounded. I would like here this to be rounded. So I will go face select this face, say mean bevel 1, add a bevel modifier 1 millimeters, only along weighted edges, 10. Yeah, 1 millimeter might be a little bit much, maybe. Let's see. Oh, we can keep it, it's good. In object mode, right click to shade smooth, and there. And I would like this to go over to the other side. So one very easy way, this object is symmetrically modeled. You see here's my my 3D cursor, Shift S, cursor to the world origin. That's perfect. Now right click. We say origin to the 3D cursor. So you see its center point was moved to there. And this is my mirroring axis. There. Very good. So we just reset the object center point to be at the center where we want it, so we do not have to use the mirror object. Okay, so that is done. We can select this and go to edit mode. Extrude is still on. And extrude this down maybe a little bit. I don't necessarily really know how much. For example, this is going down, so I will undo this and try to extrude till it starts hitting the surface. Very good. Then I go to move command and say, okay, so from there, move down maybe 2 millimeters. Okay. And also here again, we can turn this as a wireframe. Main reason why I do this is now I can see actually how far this is going down. Oh, there's actually now the optics. So something like 2 millimeters for what we try to do here is fine. Very good. Back to object mode. Control S a few times to save. Now the last two things to model is the slider and the slot. They're very easy. So Shift S, cursor to world origin, Shift A, plane, S, and we scale this one down, bring this over, S, try to scale this to there. Okay, so now X. X we make 2 millimeters, and Y maybe 8. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, we have a scale factor. So we go and apply that one. There. Then we go into edit mode. E to extrude by, let's say, 6 millimeters. Okay. These edges are rounded, so we select these edges. And here we modeled actually the rounding by starting with a circle. Here we will simply bevel actually these edges, just to show you an alternative to it. The advantage of modeling everything rounded is this is perfect. Here, when I bevel these two edges, I have to be very careful where the bevels hit each other. So I have to trick a little bit. But the advantage of this process is later I can scale the whole object and I always maintain the same rounding at the ends. So you will see. Okay, so bevel only weight. So the object is 2 millimeters, so 1 millimeter for this and maybe 10. Okay, so Z and wireframe. Let's turn the scan off. And now I will say 0.9. You see how there is kind of like this a little bit bigger. 0.95. There you see how this gets closer. When this is 1, technically speaking, there we have 2 lines, 2 edges. Because we're going to use this for modeling, I was just looking, is there an edge merge possibility? I do not see one. So we have to trick a little bit. Because we have 2 edges here, this will give an issue with the Boolean modifier. So 0.9, 0.92, 0.93. Okay, now this really looks like these are all the same, and from the top there you can see how this shoots up a little bit more versus this. So this is not ideal, but again, what we do here is exploring concepts fast, so we can get away with this, not a big deal. There we are, very good. And Shift D, bring this one to there, R and 90. Then we will turn on our scan again. Bottom view, bring this to there. So this whole thing might maybe be 4 millimeters. See how this is compressed. So there we are. Yeah, this could actually work. So 4 millimeters in 2. Yeah. So we bring this one to there, and then we do the following. Shift S, cursor to the selected. Shift A, circle, and then this will be a radius of 1. And look at that, how this will perfectly slide off and on. Okay, now go to here, and then we will say, no, it's there. Visibility wire. So it makes it easier to see through, because this object we will select edit mode A and F and E, and we just extrude it down. But how far do we extrude this one down? I don't know yet. So I left edit mode via tab. Select this. This Z maybe. I have to see how far I will sink this one down. 3 millimeters. 2 millimeters. Okay, 2. Let's say 2 are good. Then apply the scale. So when this is 2, let's make this one 1.5. Snap this one down there. So it just barely is over. So 0.5 millimeter, which is not really much. When I zoom in, you can see this looks like a lot, but this is just a millimeter of material. So this little bit hangover might maybe be enough. Plus, we don't really want, how could I say that, this button to collide with the ground or anything. So this is good. Okay, I think we have literally everything in position. What we can do now is we will select this, go to modifier, drag this up, Control S to save, add bevel modifier, set a collection. Then here we will make a new collection. We will call this bottom interface. We call this optics. This is charging. And this is on off. So these 3 objects we'll put in there and hide. and then bottom interface. There we are. Pretty cool. And you see, it cut all the objects for me on the fly. This object here, we can interface alignment, and then we hide this. Very good. Hue here, we move a little bit to there, so it looks like it's in one position. And yeah, that's actually it. We finished rebuilding a pretty close mesh model of this mouse. Again, this is something I do a lot in terms of modeling when I have to, in a faster method, explore how to build something before I go into a CAD program that can be more precise, but is a lot less flexible and forgiving. And this way, even while the geometry is not perfect, but to explore proportions or ideas, this is much faster. Thus, this is kind of like why I say what we do here is kind of like an extension of our hand sketching. This is kind of like 3D sketching before we go into CAD modeling for manufacturing and engineering. And this is it.